Hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 22 of Let's Play Republic the Revolution. We're continuing our activities today, targeting the entire western half of the city. Hopefully, town of Pugachev will fall to us quickly enough. One notable success is the fact that we have evicted the Anarchists from this half of the city. The competition was too harsh for them, and they weren't able to deal with it. They've been forced to withdraw to eastern Pugachev. This so much to the point that they're even willing to propose a ceasefire with me. Competition with the Anarchists has effectively come to an end. Now our campaign is only targeted at the corrupt and criminal elements, by which I do not mean everybody, I actually mean the organized criminal elements. So apparently the Red Mafia is continuing to organize a crime wave against us. This will not be allowed to persist, however. We will fight, and we will persevere, and we will triumph. Our victory must be guaranteed. We must drive out the Red Mafia, because now their own resources are spent. They are being forced to withdraw, they are being forced to reduce their area of operations, while we are only expanding. It's true that we're struggling to hold ground, but it is clear that we are advancing. As you can see in the rankings, we have overtaken the Red Mafia, and we are hot on the heels of the Anarchists. Our resolve remains the highest, our level remains good, and we now have a very large share of support in the town. Somewhere correlating to, let's say, 14%. Which is very, very respectable. Actually, it might even be more. It might even be roughly 16 or 17%. Very respectable, as I said, because we started from nothing. Now we've overtaken the Mafia, and we're bringing them to their knees. To their corrupt, criminal knees. Our resources are vast. Our chances are great. We're continuing our push, and at this rate, we should be triumphant quite soon. If you ask me, the Red Mafia are green with envy. Although, in YouTube's current politically correct climate, I don't want to offend any of those little green men, so I apologize in advance, and will probably steer away from the subject in the future. Who knows, I might just put a disclaimer in my video description, exactly saying that I don't seriously mean what I say. Anyhow, that's not really my problem. Although if any of my videos do get taken down due to so-called inappropriate content, which I believe there is none of here, I will be forced to take responsive actions. I'd rather not go into specifics because I've got a game to play. Now let's get back in here. The Anarchists have launched one more attack. This is not good. I do not like this, honestly. And we're going to send Mr. Baturin in there to take them out again. He's going to reveal their crimes, unveil them, and show the world that, well, at the very least, show the town that the Anarchists are not good people to deal with. The Mir estate has been taken by the cartel, although this is not much of a problem. Especially considering the fact that we have started to secure our position in the northwest of the town. We're going to consolidate it and hold it at any cost. If we're daring, which I believe us to be, we can even launch a rapid movement into the Udalsova precinct. Perhaps even realizing the goal we had about 2 or 3 episodes earlier of carving out an NPRM belt through the town. If this can be achieved, it would be a very good achievement. A very respectable one, and hopefully one that we can repeat in the future. I do, however, believe that for this purpose we will have to throw our non-aggression agreement with the Anarchists under the bus, effectively. We'll have to turn our back on them, whether we like it or not, because there's no other option. We need to drive them out. We can't allow them to muck up our plans, because if we do, it will put our entire movement in danger. And if there's one thing that I've already had enough of, it's danger. We need to keep playing it safe, to advance gradually but successfully, to create a sustainable movement. Because at this point, our movement seems to be just a flash in the pan. We need to keep our momentum up. We need to continue, no matter what form our movement may take. And although it's quite different from what we originally envisaged, although it's evolved into basically a messianic left-wing nationalist cult to one point or another, we've nonetheless achieved great things. Oleg Baturin has reached another level. I keep losing my words, I don't know why. And we're going to boost his charisma for it. So I wonder whether we should strengthen his revelation or his public criticism. I say we'll strengthen his revelation. We're going to bring the truth to this town, whether the people like it or not. We've carved out a plurality in Udalsova precinct. We've scouted out all the way down to Natanson town in the southeast. We are expanding, and I am very glad to be acknowledging it. Meanwhile, the path is open for us to launch a powerful campaign in Breshkovskaya Towers. Or at least that's what I was thinking. We'll see. It seems that we can't for the moment. Although I don't mind. We're going to continue our campaign and we're going to continue to gain momentum. We are going to eventually triumph. This is no longer a question of if, but rather a question of when. And now we're going to take advantage of the incompetence of the cartel to kick them out of the Mir estate. If they want to play dirty, I'm glad to play even dirtier. We're continuing to drive out the Anarchists in the meantime. We've kicked them out of Laika Common once more. We're gaining points. We're actually gaining a surplus for once, which is very, very welcome indeed. And now we're going to make a move into Breshkovskaya Towers. We'll see if there's any activities that we can grab a hold of, any information that we can use against our enemies. And if we can find dirt on them, we'll use it. I have a feeling that the Red Mafia's influence in Vesnin town will start to decay by itself. Same with those of other enemy factions. However, we could always put some resources into taking the Alexandrovsk Industrial Park, which is exactly what I think we'll do. Oleg Baturin will put his skills once more to our use, as he'll take the Alexandrovsk Industrial Park away from the Red Mafia. We're making some headway, some amazing headway. Our influence now reaches all the way to Potemkin Plaza on the other side of town. 2 episodes ago I wouldn't have even conceived this. But now we're marching onwards, we're achieving great things, we're speeding up our takeover of this town. I don't know what changed, I don't know what has swayed the people's opinion, but whatever it is, it's doing well for us. That much is clear to see. We do, however, need to launch more revelations. We need to bring the truth to the world. And what better way to do this than to reveal the evil, the incompetence, the drudgery and the sin that the other movements in this town embody. Their infamous takeovers shall be their undoing. The days of our rivals are numbered. We shall drive them out of the Soloviev estate. We shall drive them out of everywhere. We shall push them back, and we shall gain our ground once more. Our chance is now. It's now or never. And I personally prefer for it to be now. Our movement is gaining traction. It is gaining power. It is gaining more and more in the direction of victory. There is no doubt that we have advanced greatly since the beginning of our campaign in this town. And it is simply a matter now of preserving our gains. And of course, of taking out the ill-gotten gains of our rivals. In the meantime, it's funny to think that there's very little difference now in the point cost of evangelization and charity work for Mr. Baturin. It means that this activity that we used to use very sparingly is now becoming a staple of our tactics. Our operations are going ever further afield as we continue our campaign. It's a very welcome change from the same areas that we were constantly fighting over before. The Red Mafia has lost its hold practically over the town's north. Now we can take Vesnin town, we can take this area, the Yesiesin precinct, we can take over what is rightfully ours. We have the points, we have the power, we have the support. Our movement is moving ever closer to victory. And I'm very glad to say that this victory is getting closer by the day. Now I wonder who these are. Perhaps potential recruits. We have Sergei Mironovich, another warehouse owner, so not really especially useful for us. But we also have Yuri Ikramov, the union representative, who can do graffiti, favors, canvassing, public criticism, and scouting. A very interesting combination indeed. Perhaps we'll recruit him eventually. He'd make a good addition to the movement. But not before we've consolidated our hold over this area of the town. We'll save up some more points before we go headhunting again. But we will do it eventually. And Mr. Ikramov seems like the best bet. Now, the Anarchists, in their secrecy, have failed to gain the support of the working masses. This is very important. considering the fact that we, on the other hand, have become a popular revolutionary movement, that we are gaining traction not simply because of our opposition to the government, but also because of our opposition to the corrupt opposition itself, which has up until now had a monopoly on opposing the government. I apologize if it sounds complicated, because it is. What I effectively mean to say is that because we're a new force, with new ideas and new methods, we are gaining support at a faster rate than everyone else. Our movement is expanding quite joyfully, quite swimmingly if I can say so. And while we continue to have little to no knowledge concerning the Red Mafia or the Constantino cartel in this city, we have gained substantial knowledge concerning the Anarchists. Perhaps knowledge that can be used against them eventually. Before that though, we are continuing our campaign, and we are going to continue it with pride, with glory, with strength and perseverance. Because we are on the verge of victory. Our share of the town has grown slightly since the last time it was checked. We're slightly closer to overtaking the Anarchists as well. Our resolve remains high. We continue to leave the Red Mafia in the dust, and so I can say quite clearly that we are winning. Hopefully, our victories can be continued into the future. As the resources continue to flow in, as the victories continue to make themselves obvious. We're using our strength in the press, and through this we are attacking the Constantino cartel. We are taking this town over, we are taking it down one step at a time. And although we might not have all the information that we want, I believe that we are winning. We've consolidated our hold over areas such as Slaika Common, Ratushinskaya Field, Yesesin Precinct, Vesnin Town, and even the Pugachev city center. This is all very good progress, especially considering the fact that we've infiltrated other enemy-held areas such as the Buran Gardens, Pugachev Fields, and Potemkin Plaza. Let's see what the newspapers continue to say. The Red Mafia continues to be condemned by our press, and at the same time we're condemning the government by illustrating quite poignantly to the people that the government is failing to defend the capitalist competition that it came into power to protect. This is particularly ironic considering the fact that this government not only claims to be attempting to rebuild the economy, but also that it bases much of its image off of that. Well, Mr. Karasov, the so-called hero of the people, when in fact he is a bloody tyrant, Mr. Karasov shall see quite soon that the NPRM means business. Unlike the Red Mafia or the Constantino cartel, who mean business in the sense of corrupt transactions, and unlike the organized anarchists, who probably do not know what business even means, the NPRM is ready to achieve great victories, to achieve advances unheard of before in the history of this town. Such victorious advances will of course occur at the expense of the other factions, and will occur in the next episode. Up until then, I'd like to thank you all for supporting the series, and if you enjoy it, do not forget to leave a like, a comment, and to subscribe to my channel. I've been the Nerd Gamer, thank you very, very much for watching, and goodbye for today.